Hello, I'm Dean Takahashi. I'm the lead writer for GamesBeat, AdventureBeat, and happy to be here again with Chris Hewish, president of Xsolla. And welcome to our update on the gaming industry. It's been a turbulent time, it's a whole couple of quarters now, with the stock market crashing, the war in Ukraine, inflation, crypto winter, slowing game sales, a shortage of consoles, and falling NFT prices. And that's a scary environment for growth. And so um, video games, though, they're resilient, and even in these tough times. And one small example of that is that in the third quarter, we just saw some numbers come out from Drakestar Partners that showed growth in game investments and acquisitions. So that's compared to the second quarter, which was weaker. And so we actually saw things bounce back in some ways in the third quarter. So in that context, I'd like to welcome Chris here for our video interview. Last time we talked about the pay station, alternative web shops, and startup accelerators. What do you have for us today?
Thank you, Dean. We have a number of new things today, and you are right. It's been a turbulent time. We are certainly fortunate that our industry continues to grow. I think that's really driven by the fact we have more people playing games than ever, and game companies are finding new ways to reach those players and expand sort of their platforms. And that leads right into the things that we're excited to talk about today. We're kind of going to talk about four new features and solutions that we have that really help solve some key strategic challenges for our partners and help them find ways to generate incremental revenue and even find new ways to get some more funding to get things done. So I'm excited to jump in and talk about those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do you want to start with Asia and the expansion you're going to do there?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest questions we get from a lot of our partners is, how do we scale our games business in Asia? Anybody who's been in the industry long enough knows that it has been incredibly hard for Western companies to really succeed over in the East, in Asia, and vice versa, for what it's worth. So one of the things that we're really excited about is not only have we increased our presence as a company in Asia with building up our office in Seoul even further, which has been there for a number of years, but we've opened up offices in Beijing and Kuala Lumpur. We actually now have a presence going into Japan, and we're really building up our presence to be able to effectively help our partners locally. And part of that involves something we're super excited about, which is a partnership with Alipay. And why is this important? Well, Asia, over half of the gaming population is in Asia, right? Half of the players out there, and they're very loyal to brands that they know, and that includes commerce brands. So it's a huge opportunity, and by partnering with Alipay Plus, we've really created a one-stop solution for our partners that gives them access to a wide network of digital wallets over in Asia and worldwide. For anyone that isn't really sure, like, what is Alipay? Well, it's the number one digital wallet in China and Hong Kong. It's got almost 1.5 billion active users between Alipay and their partners, and it's connected to over 20 digital wallets worldwide. And these are wallets like Alipay, Dana, True Money, Boost, Kakao Pay, and all of this is integrated with Xsolla through a strategic partnership. And that means that our partners now that we're working with have a much bigger access into the Asian market. It's a direct connection to Alipay and all of its wallets, and it provides some really cool things like new payment methods to be able to transact, new ways to do promotions and marketing support. And it's just great. It's a big opportunity, and it really opens up the Asian market for our partners.
You're getting the developers more access to just bigger markets.
Yep. You kind of summed it up quickly. Yes. Exactly.
Mhm. And then you also have a NFT checkout. Tell us about that
We
solution.
do. We do. So, a few months ago, we announced NFT checkout as part of just our pay station. We were integrating that ability to be able to buy and sell NFTs. And we've really expanded upon that. So we know that NFTs are still kind of a craze and there's a lot of interest and hype around them. But the underlying business and technology is pretty amazing. And what we've done is we've expanded upon the ability for partners that work with us to be able to process and manage NFTs securely and safely. Just for reference, the NFT market size is currently valued at just over $11 billion and projected to grow almost 34% annually. So it's a big, fast growing market. And Xsolla's NFT checkout solution now not only allows you to sell NFTs and digital items, but it allows you to purchase them and mint them and do the entire process with us. So it really allows you to sell NFTs, digital items, and all of this. And kind of the way it works is you can purchase an NFT with your preferred method of payment. The NFTs will be delivered directly to customers in their wallets, and including Xsolla's custodian wallets. And the minting of NFTs will be available prior to or after the purchase of a virtual item, and they can be stored in our custodian wallet. So it really offers a full NFT solution now, not just the buying and selling with a receipt delivered to somebody else who manages the wallet or does the minting. Now we can offer all of that to our partners. So, anybody that's looking to get into this market, we have a really great solution for them now. And, this is just part of our continued efforts to provide any of the tools that you would need to run your game business, regardless of what that is, if it's Web3, if it's traditional, whatever it might be.
Mhm. Um, it was interesting for me to look at that Drake Star report and notice the blockchain gaming startups and the investments going into them. And in the third quarter, they commanded 40% of all deals and more than 50% of the money invested into all game startups. And so
It's
it's
amazing. It
definitely a
is
hot
really
category.
amazing.
Yeah. Mhm. And then let's see. So um, yeah, you also have a funding program here, I guess, that has some updates. You're working with uh, game developers and trailer companies on creating game
Yes.
trailers.
Yes, I mean, this would not be a discussion with Xsolla if we did not also talk about ways to get funding for your game. As we all know, or maybe we don't know, but it's amazing. I just saw this stat. There's over 1 million video games now out in the market, and 85% of the games that are out there being developed fail to find the funding that they need. Um, even with that, there were over 10,000 games released on Steam last year, and a lot of those games struggle to actually find a market. Over half of them never made more than $4,000. And what does this all have to do with funding? Well, we've taken kind of a real deep dive at why is it that a lot of these games either maybe they don't get funding or they get some funding but they have trouble finding a market. What's going on here? Well, we found out that the number one method for any game in development to find an audience is to, and it sounds like a no-brainer once you say it, but the data backs this up. So it's a kind of a data-driven analysis here. The number one way of finding an audience is putting out a great trailer. And if you have a great trailer, people are really, you'll find many more people are interested in your game. And that can be used to drive, sort of pre-sales or build up an audience or a community. So when you launch, you have a better chance of success and you do better than the other half of the games that barely, generate any revenue. Uh, but having said all of that, most indie developers, even a lot of mid-tier developers, they take all their limited funding and they put it into making the game, and then they have nothing left over to make a trailer. And this isn't great, right? Because a trailer is your best way to generate awareness and get some audience and some players. So what we've done is we have put out a program through our game investment platform where game companies can actually get funding specifically for a trailer. And that funding will just count towards future revenue. So it's not even an equity investment or a loan or anything like that. And what makes this really effective in our mind is not only have we created a vehicle to get funding for your trailer, your best way to market your game and get players, but we've also partnered up with a number of amazing trailer houses who are actually part of the program to help make those trailers for you. And so we have three at the moment. There are more that we'll be announcing. Trailer houses that are handpicked by our team. They have some pricing tiers that might be a little bit better than what you would get going on your own through this program. And this is all through game investment programs. So Liquid Arcade, Vivix, and Trailer Farm are the three trailer houses. They have a proven history of success delivering great game trailers for games like Borderlands, Love, Death, and Robots for the series, Monster Hunter, Rise. So real game, game oriented trailer houses. And this investment program is simple. You go online, you sign up for it, you put up your game, put up kind of a spec of what it is that you're looking to create for a trailer, and then investors look at that and they'll fund it in exchange for some future revenue. And this really solves that quest of like, how do I get some money to actually get this great game I've made into the market, or at least get awareness of it generated so that it succeeds when it launches.
Interesting. I've seen a lot of memorable trailers in my life here, and I recall the one for Dead Island. It was so good that it kind of was better than the game. But
is that one with the Pigeon John song? Where the guy was sort of jogging down the beach. Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's that one, but there even the one for the original was really good as well. I
Okay.
recommend people
Nice.
go back and watch that and think about
Definitely.
how to get
Yeah.
a
I mean, trailers are an art
trailer
form, right,
that
in and
is
of themselves.
absolutely memorable.
You're remembering the game, right? So that is proof positive right there.
Yeah. And then you've got some web shop updates as well.
Absolutely. So web shop has been great success for us and our partners, and we're really leaning into that even more. It's a great way for mobile game companies to sort of expand onto an entirely new platform and grow their businesses, much the same way that traditionally games might port themselves to PC or console to expand to a new audience. Taking a mobile game and porting either the game or your community into a web presence is a great way to tap a whole new audience and a whole new market. And so what we've done is we've leaned into that. We're releasing more things that allow you to do personalization. So bundles, being able to bundle together offers, create personalized offers for players so that you can offer them things to buy and purchase and engage with beyond what they would get within the app itself. So loyalty programs, another thing that we're getting in there, and subscriptions, just all of this. So we've really leaned into it. We continue to add features all the time. And this is really a fast growing, not just solution for us, but it's a fast growing business model for a lot of mobile companies out there. So it's something I really encourage mobile companies to look at, and really great way to develop a direct relationship with their players and generate more money or revenue through an entirely new sort of platform and audience, whether they port a game over there or not.
So all of these things seem like they're really tackling the pain points for indies, I guess.
Indies, not just indies though. Dean, we love to work with companies of all sizes, and we have partners large and small that are taking advantage of all of this. And that's the beauty of it, where, if you're an indie developer, you can be using these solutions and features to really operate your business the same way some of the big enterprise companies are, and larger mid, and you don't have to worry about having the resources to build all this back end or back office kind of stuff. We provide that for you, and you can just focus on making a great game, and now making a great trailer or some great digital items, and getting those out to audiences on different platforms and worldwide.
Mhm. So, I brought up the market in general at the beginning. How do you feel about the market? It does feel like a
Yeah,
scary time.
it's look, games are always there's always a bit of a fear factor with games, because games are based on technology that's always evolving and changing. So for me, that's always a bit more of the fear, versus the macro kind of economic or macro geopolitical environment. Because we've seen over time that while all these other things might be happening around us in the world, games are something that people continue to lean into and enjoy. Kind of like Moore's law, right? It's always growing, and eventually maybe there will come a time where that slows down or plateaus. But for me, I think even though there's a lot of scary things happening out in the world, there's still tons of opportunity in the game space, and that's really being driven by a lot of new technologies or players coming into the market. So right now, I think it's still a great time for games, and I think there's just more ways than ever to get your ideas into the hands of players, and being able to use new technologies like Web3 and NFTs. It's kind of exciting to see what people are coming up with. I think those are one of the things I've often talked about is at games, since there's new technologies coming in, that could be disruptive. Unlike other markets where a new technology disrupts and pushes away the previous sort of market segment and replaces it, with games, these new technologies are kind of additive and they build on top of one another. So that means that kind of perspective or analysis, our market is always growing and expanding. And we saw that with starting off with kind of PC and then console, and was kind of building on one another, and browser, and we had mobile, and it just kept expanding the audience. And now we have Web3, which is layering in on top of everything. So scary in the sense of new technologies. Macroeconomic stuff, I'm not as concerned about impacting games particularly. Having said that, I think game companies do need to look at how their business models can function in a macroeconomic climate. Heading into a recession, capital is going to become tighter. Business models that are based upon this really, I think, impacts some of the free to play business models. If you have a business model based upon growth over profitability, it's going to be harder to find fuel for that growth. So, sort of readjusting to focus on profitability is probably one of the biggest things game companies can be doing right now, if they haven't already, to sort of weather the storm from a macro sense. But the opportunity with players and the number of people playing and the number of people spending, that is still looking good.
Yeah. You have to be an internal optimist in this business if you want to stay in it. I guess you also got to bring a good business model with you.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Great. Well, very good. Thank you very much, Chris.
All right, Dean. Thank you. A pleasure as always.